Hello everybody, my name is Terry and welcome back to another Evil Eye video. Today I just want to start by giving a huge thanks to all of you and the support you've shown on my latest video. Almost at 150 views and climbing steadily. Thank you for the support you've shown, thank you for all the supportive feedback I've gotten in game and through the comments. And a special thanks to Maximilian for flying with me in today's video. Today we'll be sniping Triglavians in the Naga. I will be flying the Omega Clone variant and Maximilian will be flying the Alpha Clone variant. Let's take a look at the two different fits. For the Omega Clone fit, we have 8 425mm Prototype Gauss Guns in our high slots. In our mid slots, we have 3 F12 Enduring Tracking Computers, an Alumel-Wired Enduring Sensor Booster, a Republic Fleet Target Painter, and a Medium Micro Jump Drive. These tracking computers probably should be upgraded to T2, however I just had them lying around so I figured may as well put them to good use. The Medium Micro Jump Drive is the main difference between the Omega and the Alpha Clone fits, as only Omega pilots can use micro jump drives. In our low slots, we have 3 Magnetic Field Stabilizer 2s. In our rigs, we have a Medium Hybrid Ambient Extension 2, a Medium Hybrid Locus Coordinator 2, and an Ionic Field Projector 2. For the Alpha Clone fit, it is pretty much the same as the Omega Clone fit except for 2 different mid-slot modules. The rest is all the same. Same low slots, same rigs. The only difference is we have a large Regolith compact shield extender and a 10mm YS8 compact afterburner. This is because we do not have the MJD to get us out when we need to, and warping can sometimes take a little bit long to align if we're not set up properly. Having this extra buffer gives us more survivability. This afterburner allows us to draw range from the Triglavians and makes them take longer time to actually get on top of us. Now, the Alpha Clone fit does take a little bit more to set up. As you can see, we've bookmarked a few spots and some warp in and warp outs. As you warp into the Triglavians at 100 kilometers, as soon as you see them appear on grid, you want to set down a bookmark as you warp out, and when you land on grid, you want to start aligning to that warp out immediately. The warp out will act as a sort of safe that you can warp to and from when the Triglavians start to get on top of you. When the Triglavians do eventually get on top of you, you want to save your location as either S1 or Spot 1 or however you prefer to set it up. I like to go S1 to S2 and etc. so I know which ships are where. And once you do that, you want to warp to your warp out and then warp back to that spot at 100 kilometers. Basically, that will put you out of the Triglavians range and in your range to snipe them. Alternatively, with the Omega Clone fit, once they start to get on top of you, you can cycle the micro jump drive and jump 100 kilometers towards that warp out bookmark, which will put you back into your range and out of their range. However, if you need to, you can still warp out and warp back. Before we get into the video, I'd just like to go over a little sheet I made to help with your kill priorities. In the top left, we have a Damavik and a Kikimora. These guys can go at 2k to 2.5k meters a second and have a 40 to 45 kilometer range. The most dangerous trait is their warp scramblers. Basically, if their name is anything that has anchoring, that means that they can and will warp scram you and stop you from getting off grid, and therefore leading to you losing your Naga, like Maximilian unfortunately did. Next up, we have the Vedmak, again with a warp scrambler, because sometimes, if you're not paying attention properly, the Vedmaks can get on top of you quite quickly. You can also see that it has a 70 kilometer range. Basically what this means is once a Vedmak gets within 80 kilometers, that's the ideal time to either micro jump drive out or warp out. The Drekovac and the Leshak, most of the time they won't be able to hit you and they'll be too slow to catch up to you. However, if you look on the Leshak's image, it has a sensor dampening symbol. In the time that I've been sniping, if there have been multiple blinding Leshaks on grid, it can become a little bit tricky because your targeting range can drop from the usual of 170 kilometers down to 90 kilometers. This means that if there is an anchoring Damavik or anchoring Kikimora, you can't lock them up until they're very close and almost on top of you. The kill order that I have made is a personal opinion. It's probably not perfect, but it's what's worked best for me. First, you want to kill any anchoring Damaviks or Kikimoras. Then you want to kill the closest Damavik. After that, you want to kill the closest Kikimora, then any anchoring Vedmaks, and the closest Vedmaks, and then closest Drekovac. You want to prioritize killing blinding Leshaks and then the rest of the Leshaks. And essentially, when a new fleet warps in, you want to follow that kill order if they are in range. If they are not in range, don't worry about it too much, but make sure to keep an eye on them so they don't get on top of you. Now, to start farming the planets, it's a little bit different than the wormhole. Same idea, as there is a standing fleet which you need to kill to start the other ones. However, once you kill the standing fleet at the planet, it takes around 15 minutes for the next fleets to warp in. They vary in size depending on how bad your standings are with the Triglavians. Mine are currently sitting at -7, so the fleets will be pretty big. You still want to be dropping out MTU, same as the wormholes. However, I recommend bringing multiple mobile tractor units, as sometimes the fleets can stretch out over a few hundred kilometers. So now the first fleet has spawned in. It's at the sun, as they tend to usually be. I found a lot of Triglavian fleets like to sit at the sun. You can see as we warp in, we're going to place our warp out bookmark down, deploy an MTU and start aligning out. The nice thing about running this with multiple people is that there's more survivability. As you can see, he's taking out the Damavix while I'm taking out Kikimoras. This allows us to get rid of the bigger threats faster and more efficiently. It also means we get more ISK. We have just finished killing the rest of the fleet and we are back to salvage. The ISK you get from Triglavian hunting varies. Most of it is in the salvage, however on some fleets you'll find you'll get more loot from the MTU than you will salvage. Most of the loot will just come down to luck, whether you get a ship that will drop loot and give good salvage, or a ship that will drop no loot and not give any salvage at all. This last fleet that I'm about to show was the largest one we encountered on the day we did the ratting. It gave us the most ISK, I think totaling at close to 200, and it kept going on forever. If this was just max ratting solo, the fleet would not have been as big because his standings with Triglavians are still pretty high, as they're only sitting at -0.4, whereas mine is sitting at -7.2. Now this fleet does go on for quite a while. I myself found it pretty satisfying to watch while I was editing, and I hope you enjoy. but mainly it's to show how large the Triglavian fleets can be and what to look out for.
you.